Good morning. I just woke up feeling a little bit sleepy still, but I've got to do this video. I've got to do a video every single day. I was in a place yesterday which I decided not to film the place for security reasons, and also I didn't really know if I would get a temporary long-term temporary accommodation. So I kept it cool and I kept it to myself, and I didn't want to show anything about the place. I didn't want to say anything about the first place where I was. So I was in a completely different place yesterday. So the Sociale and Health and sent me to a hostel for one night only. So I checked in a hostel, and there was a team support trying to help me with this temporary accommodation for the night that is trained, I suppose, and sent by the government. So yeah, in the hostel there was a section within the hostel that was being used to help homeless people. But on the 1st of July, this will no longer continue to happen. So they had to tell me that information and send me to this location where I slept last night here. Concentrate on the place from yesterday because it was a hostel. So I decided not to share any information because it was too good to be true. You know, I had a room just for myself, and then there were 4 beds. And it was just me there, and pretty much a waste of room and resources because they could have accommodated more people. But I was intrigued to know why they would allow me to stay there for one night just by myself in a room with 4 beds. And all the treatment was nice. I have nothing to complain about. In fact, everything was super organized and really nice. No complaints whatsoever, apart from the food that was really tasty, but I didn't really feel well after eating the food, so which was a bit like a shock to the system. I felt really dizzy, and I was not even able to function properly and speak properly. Yeah, I felt really low energy, and usually I have really high levels of energy, and before I got there I had a lot of energy, a lot of ideas. But yesterday I had to call everything off because yeah, my stomach was really funny and I was going to the toilet all the time, and it was not really a nice health kind of feeling and situation. But I believe it was based on the food. So I did do a COVID test that, and it was negative, so I don't really have COVID. Wise and staff wise, everyone was super friendly, so I have no complaints about it. It was just the food that was not just right for myself, because obviously I'm a vegan person. I don't eat animal products, and I don't eat meat or chicken or fish. But yeah, that was challenging. Although there was vegetarian options, they were not vegan. But since I'm in this situation, I'm gonna have to be vegetarian because otherwise I'm going to go hungry, and it's something that's not good for my health. So I'm gonna have to eat more vegetarian foods for the lack of vegan food, basically. So at the previous place in Friedrichshain in Kreuzberg, that was the hostel where I was staying, I spoken with the social worker, and the social worker read about my case and got knowledge about my case. And so I told you earlier, she said that that place where I was staying would close down the 1st of July. And yeah, I mean, I was living, I'm still living, my address is still in Friedrichshain, Kreuzberg. So I expected that I would stay in the area where I was living, because this is how it works in Berlin. So where you live, in the neighborhood where you live, this is where you have to go to the job center, this is where you have to go to the Sociale and Health, and this is where you have to go with social workers, doctors, or anything is in your neighborhood. But for some reason they sent me to a temporary accommodation in a different area, not really in the area where I live, which I was a bit disappointed. So I asked the social worker why they are sending me to a different area, because obviously it's more sensible to keep me in the area where I was already living for the past almost a year. And I already know the area, I already know the shops, I already know where I can buy food cheaply, and I already know some people. And I didn't really think that that's productive, especially when someone is homeless. You cannot be changing the places all the time, and the person doesn't really have money to pay for public transport either. So it is a huge challenge, and I told her all of that, and I also asked if there wasn't if there was another place nearby, and she said that there was no place nearby. This is the only place which I have to go to. But bear in mind that I really have to fact check that, because I don't believe it. The Soziale Wohnungshelfen already had told me that there were more places in Friedrichshain that I should always stay in that area. But then the social work is saying something completely different, so it is a contradiction. But this is a huge problematic issue here in Germany. They are always contradict themselves. So one person says one thing in the social facilities, and then the Soziale Wohnungshelfen says something else, and then the job center says something else. There is not really a good communication and organized plan, or there is not such a instruction or prevention or system that really guides homeless people to get the best result for their situation. Everything is a little bit over the place, and everything is really last minute as well. Maybe you have a room, maybe you don't, maybe you have a bed or you don't. It creates really uncertainty and stress, which is something that homeless people don't really need, right?